My name is Jess. I'm the Genomics Coordinator at Total Livestock Genetics. I've been with TLG for just over 2 years now, so it's been a bit of a steep learning curve. I think nearly everybody else in my friend group at high school either came from dairy, beef or breeding background. I think I was about the only one that didn't. So it has been a massive learning curve, but has been a very, very exciting new venture from my previous work in the past. So I suppose I'll just get started. All the samples that we I suppose posted in and we help go and collect are all tested here in Australia. So we keep the work in Australia here on Aussie soil and helping to cut down that turnaround time as well. So I'll just touch on a couple of the base testing as well as the additional testing we can have, if we can have the next slide. So we've just got up on the screen there, the base testing options that we offer is our Identity Essential, Identity Select and Aussie Select. And the add-ons that you can have with this can include BVD, dairy breeding stock panel, milk protein, SEQSI A2. And it's also worth noting we work closely with Ginfo clients who would maybe like to have any of this additional testing happen as well. So we definitely see A2 as one of our most popular add-ons. We also see a good number of tests coming in for the dairy breeding stock panel for any farmers that want to obtain a true polled result on their animals. So it's also worth noting that any of these items that you can see on the screen can also be bundled. So if you're looking at doing Identity Select and dairy breeding stock panel or essential and milk proteins, that's something we can definitely do. So I'll go into a little bit more information just quickly. So our Identity Essential ranks the heifers that have been tested based on their net merit scores. This test is conducted in-house at our Gatton lab. We find that this test essentially helps farmers in their selling decisions, can report traits as fat yield, fat percentage, daughter stillbirth and dairy form. We have had some really exciting changes to do with the Identity Essential testing. So the parentage is now actually ran on the CDCV database. So that allows us for more accurate parent discovery and identification. So our next one we have is Identity Select, also known as TPI, JPI or IPI. As Anna touched on before, this one is a full US-based data profile run on CDCB. Genomic parent discovery is also on offer. This gets reported in the results that the farmer receives as well as on the Identity dashboard, which I will touch on a little bit later. You can see a couple of the report traits there, calving ease, conception rate, gestational length, which is all very important points for especially the dairy farmers. So we have had a couple of updates on the Identity Select as well. So anybody who wants to test on the Identity Select will actually receive a portion of the milk proteins now included in the testing as standard. So they'll now include the kappa casein, beta casein AB and the beta lactoglobulin. So yeah, we'll move on to the next slide. So our Aussie Select, we see this as a very popular testing option with our farmers, so often known as BPI. So this is an Australian-based test facilitated by DataGene, also offers genomic parent discovery as well. Report traits including calving ease, milking speed and mammary system, which we do find the farmers show a lot of interest in the mammary system when it comes into terms of milking speed and stuff like that. We do have another exciting update with the Aussie Select. So this testing is now reported with A2 as a standard option. So beforehand, farmers would have to pick Aussie and A2 to receive the two. So now if they just pick Aussie, the A2 will be included in that. So we have found actually this update with the Aussie and A2 has been very well received by clients, especially with Aussie and A2 being probably one of our most popular testing. So we've found that that's been very well received. So I've got a couple of the add-ons there on the screen, just a quick little breakdown. So you got your BVD, dairy breeding stock panel, which I touched on before. So this includes the dairy breeding stock panel, also includes the full milk proteins as well as the horn polled status and embryonic lethal status. You've got your milk proteins there and your SEQSI and A2, which you can also test for A2 as a standalone option as well. We find this is a very popular option with farmers who are looking at dispersing their herd, so for sale. And then the only other thing, is that we do work closely with Ginfo clients who look at doing any additional testing as they normally get their BPI through the Ginfo project. So usually they get in touch with us and they request that they would like to conduct some extra testing, and we order a sample pool and we get that sample organised for them. So the next slide that we have is where I touch on the iGenity dashboard quickly. So this is a fantastic platform. This is a one-stop shop for all the farmers' data and key traits. So whatever data that the farmers have selected to test on, whether it be iGenity Select, Essential or Aussie, this is the one place that you can view all of that data. And as you can see there beside the profile where it has Aussie Select, your drop down box, that's where you can pick your Aussie Select, your TPI or Essential. And then your select view, you can sort of narrow it down a little bit more if you're looking for data in particular. So it's definitely a extremely handy tool, especially I know a lot of farmers probably don't have a lot of time in the day to sit down behind a computer, so very easily accessible as well. And this is also updated every genomic run. As we know, numbers can change slightly. So, and our next slide, I will just quickly touch on our sample collection and submission. So I suppose the top two samples we see and that I receive at TLG in Camperdown is either the tissue or the hair sample. So what we will say, the hair sample, usually from the switch of the cow's tail, if it's from calves, and maybe up a little bit higher on the rump. The nodule on the end of the hair is actually what the lab tests, so we like to make sure that that's got a nice strong presence as well. The tissue sample is just a small tissue piece taken from the cow's ear. And the only other thing is our genomic submission form. So we provide this form to clients to pick what sort of testing they would like to undergo, give us some details, and we take the samples and those details, and we pretty much take it from there. So, and the only other thing is that we also highly, encourage that if maybe farmers haven't done sample collection before, especially if it's hair or tissue, we come out onto farm, we help them out. Usually, especially around milking time, they find that the easiest time to do that just because the cows are all in one place. So definitely we're up for early mornings, we're up for late nights. It's fantastic to actually go out and help the farmers with that, because at the end of the day, these animals really are the farmer's life. So it's great to be able to go down there and have a chat to them and, build that kind of relationship with them, that we do understand, that these animals are super important to them and is essentially their livelihood. So we try to make the submission and collection process as easy as possible and hope that they get the numbers that they're hoping for at the end. So